For the past month, I have been super locked in. And I cringe when I hear this phrase, but it's just the best way to describe it. I've been locked in, I've been disciplined. I've worked hard on my business, on social media, on my diet, on going to the gym, on getting myself out there to better my mentality. I put in purposeful, conscious efforts. And today I kind of broke down. It's okay because I know I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna bounce back. But let me tell you what I did today. Today I woke up, I instantly went to Instagram and YouTube to read comments. And when I went to Instagram, turns out I didn't have any comments or anything, mostly because I actually forgot to upload. I've been uploading every day, and yesterday I forgot to upload. No big deal. I'll just upload 2 times today. I'm not attached to the streak of uploading every day. But then on YouTube, I opened up and yes, there were comments. And when I see that little notification, that little, the little bell, I don't know if you guys get notifications on YouTube, on the YouTube app, there's a little bell that has like a red thing on the top right of it, and it says how many notifications you had. I had 3. So I was like, oh my gosh, there's probably 3 comments. Someone left, or multiple people left on my other YouTube video. And I sighed. I became anxious because I know that video was super incredibly controversial. I said some really controversial things, some really disagreeable, some really unpopular, some things that people consider to be dumb as frick, if you know what I mean. I'm just gonna tell you, it's nothing like, I'm not a horrible person for saying, I don't think. I based my video didn't make the claim, but it sort of implied that you can be a Christian without believing in the literal events of the Bible. I know we're not going to argue about that today. You can disagree in the comments right now and make me feel even more anxious because I'm gonna get your notifications. So you can go ahead and do that. I welcome you too. And it's none of you guys' fault. When I feel like it's the cost I have to go through. It's the trial by fire that I have on my hero's journey. And I don't know, as I'm talking to you right now, I feel kind of narcissistic, but I feel like, come on, is it not? Is it not? This is the pain I must go through in order to become the type of person that I want to become. And you've probably heard the advice that you have to be willing to be misunderstood, and you have to be willing to not let everybody like you. And you hear this consciously, and you might agree with it. You might watch this at 12 at night once you had a bad day and you're consuming really cheap dopamine content on Reels. And all of a sudden you feel like alive again and you get a little burst of motivation. And tomorrow you're going to be so great. And then you wake up in the morning, your mental state's totally different. And now you're cringing at how overconfident you were. Man. I went through that cycle for years. And it finally stopped recently. I have now internalized that advice. I'm going through the pain that I think is required for someone to actually be okay with being disliked and misunderstood. Because I've been making content for a while. And if you want to make content, or if you want to express yourself, and especially if you have unpopular opinions, you're going to have to put yourself out there. And most of you will give up because the negative feedback will be so strong that it causes you to change. It's changed. It's caused me to change and reconsider things. I thought I had the mentality that I'm not going to change based on comments and their advice and their criticism. But I made a video about a week or 2 ago where I'm talking to strangers with my Meta glasses like an annoying influencer every day to try to get over my social anxiety. You know, people were calling me weird and all that, and that, I don't know, there was a whole debate in the comment section about immigrants because apparently these people were immigrants, and I didn't get death threats, but I got threats. And that kind of scares me because I have really unpopular beliefs that some people might consider really evil and that make me a bad person. For example, I don't believe in objective morality. That means I don't believe in good and evil to be good and bad to be a truth, objective truth in the cosmos and in the universe. It's my subjective opinion that some things are good and bad. But here's where I'm going to get to the point about why some people may not be ready to hear your unpopular opinions. It's because people are pattern recognition machines. they are literally, they face a trigger, a stimulus, and they act based on that stimulus. Most people don't have the time, the energy, and they just don't want to analyze every single situation. So they respond fast based on patterns of that they learn growing up or living through life. So when I come along and say murder isn't objectively bad, I'm like, oh my gosh, are you defending murder? I'm not, but people are not going to be able to reason. It's literally impossible. I read this book, Influence by Robert Cialdini. It's probably been my... Once you read that book, you see it everywhere. You see people... It talks about a lot of principles such as reciprocity, scarcity, urgency, social proof. Basically, a lot of principles that are really good at triggering human behavior. And you see it often. You see it often when you read it and then you look at the world, your view of everything changes forever. But that book talks about something called a click-run mechanism. And I remember, I don't know, it was some type of animal, let's say chickens. They heard, there was something that signaled to the chickens that they were in danger. Say like a wolf was coming to eat them. And it was a sound. And every time they played that sound, the mother chicken, the mother hen would, I don't know, they would get super rowdy and dangerous, ready to protect its flock. But then they put that same sound on its own children, and it attacked its own children. It was something along those lines. The story could have been different. And in the same way that sound alone can trigger action that isn't completely rational in chickens, it happens to adults too. And when you say something controversial, most people are not going to reason with you. You have to meet them in the middle. And I've been preaching about my beliefs about not believing in the resurrection despite being a Christian, about not believing in free will, about not believing in objective morality. I feel like I personally, I actually came to this conclusion after talking with ChatGPT, because it's the best piece of it, the most fair person, the most fair thing, honestly, I can talk to. I can talk to friends, or I can talk to strangers on the internet. I believe ChatGPT has the ability to be more unbiased than probably 99.9% of humans, including myself. And he pointed that out. I'm meeting people too abruptly. I trigger them. And I don't know, when people say, haha, I trigger people, that's why people don't like me, that sounds narcissistic, but it's something I want to change. Because I believe my beliefs, and probably your beliefs, and some things that, your beliefs, some things that you believe, you're probably meeting people at a point where their consciousness isn't at, where their view of the world isn't at. You have to meet people where they are, and that's how you influence them. I have to, instead of talking about there being no free will, which I really do not believe in free will, guys, I have to meet them. I have to probably start talking about, actually, maybe your circumstance and how you grew up actually matters more than we think. And then little by little present the idea of free will, and people, little by little, that's how they change. So stop triggering, use triggers wisely, because at the same time, triggering people can be really good for views, but it won't build a good brand if you're constantly triggering people and you're not good at articulating. This is why I'm making these videos right now, because I want to get better articulating. Because whether it's narcissistic of me or not, I believe I have something special. I believe I have good unpopular beliefs that can actually make me a following. I was going to say make a better world, but it's honestly just for me. Humans are freaking selfish. I want a brand so I can benefit myself. And it feels good to help other people, so it kind of goes hand in hand. But I feel like I'd be disingenuous, and I feel like I'm conscious that it's selfish, even though most people think it's not selfish, but it really is. Does that make sense? God bless you. If you believe in love, or that all things happen for a reason, or karma, or I don't freaking know what, justice, free will, then you probably already believe in something supernatural like God. But who am I to know? I'm just a measly little human being. Bye.